Boom! We are live. So the question is to fat or to not fat, to bust or to retain. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about semen retention and my honest thoughts on no fat. If it's something that's worth it to pursue, something that might help you with either your productivity, with your game while you're talking to women, or if it's just in general, if it's just helpful for you to perform no fat and semen retention. So for me, I've experienced just about everything when it comes to semen retention and no fat. I've been in the position where when I was younger, got my hands on some tapes, started watching them, unfortunately. And when you're that young, you get addicted to it, start busting nuts every weekend. I got a hold of my brother's tapes. One, I think it was like an evening in high after baseball practice in high school. And I remember when I found that gold mine, I was stuck in that room busting so many fucking nuts because he had like all the collection ready to go. So I've been in different positions. I've been in that side where you watch it, you bust a lot. And then I've also been in phases of my life where I try to be proactive with semen retention, where I try not to fat. And I've also been in positions where I've been in long-term relationships with my girlfriend, and we just we do it together. So there's a part where I'm not really watching anything, but I'm still busting those nuts. And then finally there's also the position where you're dating different girls, and you're also not partaking in no fap. You're actually having live sex with your girl. So I've been in every single position. So I have some pretty good background on this topic. Also, before we jump into the video, guys, I just want to mention that I always get asked the question of what type of software I use, what different personal travel credit cards I like to use when I'm traveling abroad. I'm currently in Colombia. I love this country, one of my favorite countries. I especially love the coffee here. But if you're interested in any of those personal travel credit cards, in the link in the description below, we'll have all of those different cards, all of the different affiliates, all the different technology that I use while I'm traveling abroad, like VPNs, different software. You can use those referral codes in the link provided below, and you can get a discount if you apply using that link. So I just want to mention that because I always get the question, and guys, like I have it all linked in the bottom so you can use it. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. Semen retention and no fap. Is it actually worth it? So let me go ahead and pull up the whiteboard so I can show you guys what my thoughts are on this subject. All right, let's go ahead and present the whiteboard now. Screen share. All right, so I identified that there's a couple of different levels that you can be when it comes to semen retention and no fat. The worst place that you can be is watching pornography and depleting all of your vitality. That's the worst position that you can be. You don't want to be that scrub that's watching porn, busting 3, 4 nuts a day. I know because, like I said, when I was in high school and I found my brother's gold mine, I was in that position. But at the time, I didn't really know any better, and I was just kind of like, whatever. This is fucking awesome. And I think as guys, kind of like a rite of passage, we're all probably gonna go through that phase, especially when we're younger. But you don't want to be in that position. That's a very easy position to get stuck in, and to get it's a trap because you're spiking your dopamine. It's not the real life representation of what sex really is like, and also you're depleting yourself, so it's making you comfortable. You don't have the same ambition or vigor to go talk to girls and actually get real life sex. So This is a trap that a lot of younger guys fall into because they get their hands on porn. Like, man, all you need is a phone and you're good to go. If you pull up your phone, you could quickly find something that you might like, and you can find any shape, color. So that's one of the drawbacks of having technology at our fingertips, is that you can easily get addicted to pornography in that process. So it's just something to be aware of. But this is the worst position to be in because, like I mentioned, it spikes your dopamine, it sparks your hormones while you're watching the hub, and it's putting your hormones in a really bad position. You're going up and down. It's going to cause depression because you're spiking that dopamine is very strong on the brain. And also it's going to make you very comfortable because you will be in a position where you think that you can just stay at home, watch this, and you don't have to go out and talk to girls. So this is the worst position that you can be in. And then we go into the moderate positions. This is like the mid zone, where you can watch it, where you're not watching it, but you're still depleting. So you might, beat it off every now and then. And what this is not as bad because you're not spiking that dopamine that you will be spiking with the same level of dopamine that you'll be spiking with the hub. This is more, it's just personal thoughts. Maybe it could be a magazine. So it's not as bad, but you're still depleting that energy. So this is just something to keep in mind, that you're still depleting your semen. And there's been studies that have shown that if you retain your semen for like a week to 3 weeks, around 21 days, your testosterone does boost a bit. It's not a huge increase, but it does boost a little bit. So it's one thing to keep in mind, is that if you do go this route, it could be helpful to, I think it's better to sustain for 21 days. And then if you want to, you could do it with this method. You could bust with maybe your girlfriend, maybe a girl that you meet, or if you have a magazine, something more, something that's away from actually watching videos on the hub. You want to stay the fuck away from the hub, because it's going to really just fuck up your mind. So this is like the moderate mid zone. Then the next one here is semen retention, where you're just completely retaining your semen. This is probably the most difficult one to sustain. The longest that I've probably gone doing this is probably like a month. And that was a very uncomfortable time for me. I think that if you want to make this work, semen retention, where you're not depleting yourself at all, you do have to incorporate yoga and meditation, because that sexual energy is very powerful. It's going to be inside your body. It's not leaving anywhere. So instead of keeping it stagnant there, where it's just staying there, it's not moving, it's not doing anything, you want to circulate it throughout your body, and you want to use that energy and transmute it into something that's going to benefit you, like hitting the gym, going for runs, training, boxing, your creative outlet, like making videos, making music. You want to channel that energy. You don't want to keep it stagnant, because if you keep it stagnant, you're going to get very uncomfortable trying to practice the semen retention. It's just going to make you agitated. You're going to get frustrated. Like I mentioned, for me, the longest that I've been able to do this is like a month. And that was very, very difficult for me. But I think that if you incorporate yoga and meditation, it's going to give you a way to channel that energy throughout your body. So it's not staying in that position there. So like if you take a look at some of the chakras in yoga and in Hinduism, you can see that there's different chakras throughout the body. And there's a chakra there that's specifically dedicated to the sexual energy. So that energy stays bottled there. I think it's like right under your ab area. It's like on the bottom of the tummy. And if you don't circulate that energy, it's going to make you very like tense, very, very rigid, very frustrated and agitated all the time. So you do want to circulate it if you want to practice semen retention. I think this one will definitely give you a lot more energy, because one thing you'll notice if you go through semen retention is that girls will naturally feel your energy whenever you walk into a room, and you're going to experience higher levels of attraction from the opposite sex. And also, you're just going to feel better. Your mind's going to have more clarity. But the part that gets difficult is that we all have that natural urge to have sex, to procreate. So that's one thing to be aware of. And one other thing that I want to mention, guys, is that it's perfectly natural for you to want sex. Like, we're all human. So understanding that sex is natural just gives you an advantage, because this is sexual energy that you can use to fuel your goals, to fuel your ambitions. So don't ever be ashamed of that sexual energy. Don't be ashamed that you're attracted to girls, that you want to have sex. It's part of being a fucking man. So the key here is to understand how to use that sexual energy to make you more productive, make you more goal driven, and level yourself up. So the last one here is to actually have live sex with your girl. I think this is the best place to be in. That's why I think that long-term relationships are a good thing. If you find a girl that you really click with, she supports your goals, you have a good relationship with her, and you guys know how to get along. I think that that's probably the best position, because just having live sex is going to increase your testosterone. It's a different experience from just beating it off and depleting all your resources. It's you're still depleting. You're not practicing semen retention at this point, but at least it's in you're actually having sex, and there's like a primal instinct that goes into having sex. It increases your confidence. You just feel a lot better. You feel like a man, and it's the most natural method. So I think that this is the best place to be in. And one thing that I'll mention about no fat and semen retention is that if you don't beat it off, if you don't watch the hub, if you do retain, or you go through time stints of you retaining that energy, it's going to force you to become more proactive in your game. It's going to force you to actually go out and talk to women and not bust your nuts all over the place. So this is helpful to increase your confidence while you're out there and talking to girls. You're gonna have that natural urge to want to talk to more girls, to actually be successful in your approaches. So it's just gonna force you to be proactive. And the next thing is that it's also going to increase your masculine energy. We touched on this before. It's like whenever you retain that energy, women just naturally feel that vibe, that testosterone is fucking oozing out of your body. And you'll quickly notice, probably like a week into it, you'll notice that a lot of girls are going to become more attracted to you. You're going to feel it when you're in the gym. And I think it's those pheromones that come from the testosterone of retaining your semen. And the next thing is that it's also going to save you a lot of time if you don't fap and deplete all your energy all the time. Because if you think about it, you're not watching videos, you're not taking 30 minutes to an hour of your day to go bust a nut. So you're saving that time, and you can transmute it into your goals. I mean, if you're making videos, you're working on your career, you can transmute that energy into that. But the cons of semen retention and no fat is that it makes it very difficult to focus. So that, like we touched on this earlier as well, if you're not letting that energy out, you're going to naturally get frustrated. You're going to get like sexually frustrated. So that's why I think that practicing this is not something long term. It's something that you can do for phases of time, just to help you maybe level up your testosterone, maybe help you get out of your shell and actually go out and start talking to women. You can use it as a tool for that, but I think eventually you're going to have to find an outlet. If you don't want to get into a long-term relationship, I don't think there's anything wrong with you like beating it every now and then. Like I said, sex is natural. Like as men, we need to procreate. And if you're in a position where you can't do it, like let's just keep it 100, man. Like just squeeze one out, man. Like it's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with it because one, you're not watching. As long as you're not watching the hub, maybe you invest in like in a Hustler magazine or Playboy or something, or you're just going off your thoughts. I think that's probably the best position to be in. I think that I've done like for me, like the best one is to just go off my thoughts, like either sexual experiences that I had in the past with women, with ex girlfriends, or in other scenarios. But I think that's probably the best way if you really want to just get that tension out and channel that energy. So you can also focus, because if you will get sexually frustrated and just agitated if you just bottle it in, especially if you're not doing meditation or yoga. So I think it's perfectly natural if you want to do it from time to time. I would just keep it to a minimum, maybe once a week. No hub. Just do it off your thoughts or buy a magazine so you're not spiking that dopamine and fucking up your hormones. And the last thing here is it's just going to be, if you go through this, you're going to be tempted to watch the hub because you're trying to retain it. And while you're trying to retain it, that instinct and that urge is going to come into play. So just be aware of that. But I think that semen retention and no fap is powerful. I don't think it's sustainable for too long. Maybe 3 weeks to a month is the longest that I would recommend. A month is probably the longest that I've been. That shit was fucking horrible. You know, as men, like you have to have sex. You have to get that out. The energy has to come out. So I would invite you to maybe think about a long-term relationship if this is something that you're interested in. If you want to regulate that better, maybe a long-term relationship could help you. If you don't want to get into a long-term relationship, because I completely understand that too. A long-term relationship just takes time, takes energy away from you as well. You can also just start dating, man. There's two approaches to this. There's the purple pill view on it, and then there's the red pill view on it. So you can talk to multiple girls, start spinning some plates, and whenever you need to get that urge scratched, you hit up one of your girls that is cool, they want to hang out, and you can get that urge out. That's the red pill approach to it. And then there's the purple pill approach to it, where you can get yourself a long-term girlfriend, and when that urge hits, because it's gonna hit, you get with your girl, you get with your girlfriend, have a good time, and you channel that energy. But the worst thing, I just want to really emphasize this, is that the worst thing that you could do with that sexual energy is fucking waste it on the hub. That's the worst outcome when it comes to semen retention and no fat, because you're spiking your dopamine, you're fucking up your hormones, you're depleting yourself, you're making yourself comfortable, and you're getting addicted to the hub. And also, you're not getting any girls. So you're putting yourself in a very, very difficult position if you go down this route. But I think that if you channel that energy, use it whenever you need to, maybe abstain for a while, it will increase your testosterone. You're going to become more proactive. And I think it's just going to overall increase your masculine energy. So there you have it, guys. If you made this far into the video, make sure to give us a like. Also, hit that subscribe button. And like I mentioned, check out those affiliate links in the link below. They're going to really help you if you want to start traveling abroad, work as a digital nomad, or just start traveling, use different assets while you're in your travels. Check them out in the link in the description below. I'll catch you all in the next video. Stay strong, stay relentless, and keep on conquering. You got this. Peace.